Okay, so we're gonna get right into it. Netflix, Fatal Affair, starring Nia Long and Omar Epps. So the movie starts out with Nia Long being a lawyer at a firm, and Omar Epps is a high tech hacker. We find out about him being a hacker like during the middle of the movie. Okay, so we know that Nia is a lawyer and Omar Epps is a high tech. He works in technology. So Omar Epps came to the firm for a job, but when he got there, he didn't know that Nia worked at the firm. So when he saw her, she was like, "Oh my God, hi, hey, like I know him. I used to go to college with him." So after the meeting at the firm, she invited him for drinks with her and her friend. Now, when it was time for them to go out for drinks, the friend had to stay at the firm because she had papers to put in the next day. Like she just couldn't. So now Nia is like, oh my God, this man and me, it's kind of like awkward, but it's like, all right. In her mind, it's I'm catching up with an old friend, so it's not really a stranger. So they get to the bar, they start drinking. She's comfortable. She's not really in this state of mind of he's a stranger. She let her hair down. Girl, this is where she went wrong at. Slow music start coming on. They slow dancing. They all on each other. Remind you, Nia Long married, big rock on her finger, and she end up, she at the bar with, an old time friend. And when he went to go kiss her, because he has always felt like Nia was the one for him back in college. And she never even thought of him, being that way. You know how we see a friend as a friend and that's what it is. So she like quickly snapped out of it, ran into the bathroom, wiped her face off and was like, oh my God, I can't let this happen. You know, Things are starting to go in her mind. One thing led to another. He bust in the bathroom, ripped her clothes, and before he could even like penetrate, she stepped out of it, was like, oh no, 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 no. I am married. I can't do this. I'm married. You know, we're friends. Let's keep it like that. So then the next day, when she goes to in for work, she got to see him at work. And even though she was leaving the law firm to start her own law firm, things kind of felt like awkward. And I'm like, girl, first of all, you knew it was awkward when this man goddamn, was saying how being in a relationship with you, and he kind of like let it slip through his fingers. Like he always wanted to be with her, but she was the type of girl in college where she probably was dating somebody else, and he didn't want to like impose or step on anybody's toes and stuff like that. So it is what it was. So he winds up getting with the friend, manipulating the friend and telling the friend, what she want to hear, because The friend is single and she ain't really got nobody. So Nia invites the friend over to the house. And remind you, the house that they are living in is all nice. It's on the beachfront. You know how them houses on the beach it's like a house, and then miles down the road is another house, and then miles down the road is another house. That's basically how it was. And I'm like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because in situations like this, you gotta have a neighbor that's close by. Like, I just can't understand how people could be comfortable with living in these type of houses and you just never know what is going to happen, even though you might have your house and the best tech equipment of safety. You just never know what's going to happen. So she invites the friend over for dinner, and at this time, she had already told Omar, like, look, I understand it almost went there, but I'm married. It wasn't supposed to even be like that. And I don't want you here. So whatever you got to do to get out of being here, I don't care if you got to lie and say you got to handle business. You got to leave my home. So they leave. And then the next day, the friend comes to where Nia works at now because she's no longer at the firm. Like, she's at her own firm. It just opened up or whatever. She's getting settled in. And the friend comes and says, oh, so what is this I'm hearing that you and him had sex, and you wanted to be with him and you wanted to cheat on him? And I'm like, girl, ain't nobody cheat on nobody. If anything, you do know that this man made a move on her. It's not the other way around. But the friend is so delusional into having somebody pay attention to her. It's like she would believe a guy over her friend. See, at times like this, you gotta wonder, like, were you even my friend in the beginning? Because you know how I am. I'm married. I would never do that. And then the friend pulls out text messages from what he wrote her, talking about, I'm sorry from that night. I never meant for it to be like that and it go down the way it did. And Nia's like, I didn't write that. He wrote that to me. He just put my name up there. Like, you do know he said he works at a high tech company. Like, the movie is good. Omar looking good with his sexy little chocolate fat self. Nia is looking all nice, grown and sexy, all mature and everything. And we find out that Omar Epps is kind of like cuckoo in the head, because he even went as far as to getting with somebody, marrying them, that looks exactly like Nia, because he couldn't be with Nia. He always wanted to be with Nia. So instead of being with Nia, he went out and found somebody that looked like her. And in the movie, it showed that a couple was at a beach front house. It was, sex scene. They wound up doing their thing, and all of a sudden, they wound up dead. Now, me, I want to know questions right off the bat. Like, I answer my own questions. Who did it? I bet you he did. Come to find out, he done killed his ex-wife and the boyfriend, because the wife was like, oh, this nigga crazy. So he doesn't take rejection too well. And he was seeing therapy for it. So his therapist was like, so you do know why you're here, right? And he was like, yeah. And he even went as far as to say that he is in a new relationship, and his therapist was like, she already knew off the bat, like, okay, you're not even about to run game on me. I know you're not in no relationship with nobody. It's just a fantasy that you living in. This man was fixated on Nia throughout the whole movie. Had pictures of her, pictures of the daughter, because Nia had a daughter in college that was visiting on a break. I think it was like spring break or summer break. It was some type of break. They really didn't go into details as to, it just said, she's visiting, you know. So he got pictures of Nia and, shit that crazy people do when they stalking. Like, this nigga was on some stalking type mode. So Nia wanted to know more about this dude because the only thing she knew was as far as I went to college with him, and it was like everywhere she turned, he was there. So she wound up going to an old job that he worked at, and his boss was like, yeah, he was married. Come to find out that after the divorce, the wife wound up dead. That's the scene that was in the beginning of the movie where the two couples was, getting a little freak on, and they wound up dead. So what he did, because he knew how to, cover his tracks and, hide fingerprints and shit like that. And not only did he do that, but he made it seem like it was a robbery attempt. I'm like, oh my God. The movie is so good. I'm telling you. The acting is good. The quality is good. Like, Netflix really did their thing. And we have seen a lot of, movies like this. Like, this is not the first time that we have seen a movie where, somebody is just over love with somebody, where you would do anything to be with that person. He even called her Deborah, which is his deceased wife name, and she was like, who is Deborah? Oh yeah, you crazy. You really is crazy. So the movie is good. Yeah, see it on Netflix. Tell me how you like it. It's more to the movie than what I'm going to tell you. But one thing I will get into saying is, when you see signs, even if it's not a relationship, do not ignore the signs, because Nia quickly, like, did not ignore the signs. Like, even though she should have told this man that she did not want to be bothered with him, until it was too late for her to say, listen, I don't want you around me. You're creeping me out. You're scaring me. Every time I turn around, you're there. He even went as far as to going on a little golf day with her husband. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't kill the husband. He wound up killing the daughter's little boyfriend, boo. But I'm like, you know what? I can't. Now, out of all people, why would you kill the little boyfriend, boo? I mean, the little daughter, boo. If anything, you would think that he would kill the husband. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking right off the bat he was going to kill the husband because he wanted to be with her. He even went as far as almost killing the best friend because when he was trying to tell him, like, listen, this dude crazy. He got pictures of me. He got pictures of my family. He even got pictures of his wife. This dude is crazy. And she forwarded the evidence over to her phone. So she saw that it wasn't a lie because at first the friend was like, oh, when Omar made it seem like Nia was coming on to him and he had to reject her, it's like, now why would you believe him? Why? And the way that he was just like grabbing on her, I knew that it just did not seem right because he wanted to be dominant. And it was like, even though he's doing this, he didn't really want the friend. He was just doing it to get underneath skin, to be next to her. The friend could have wound up losing her life just because she didn't want to listen to her friend. Like, how the hell is you about to lose a friendship over a piece of pain you don't even know like that? You just met this dude. So when that whole scene occurred, I was just like, I'm glad he didn't kill her, but I'm just like, you would think that he would wind up killing the husband because the husband is who you should be trying to go after. Like, you want to be with her? Y'all go watch the movie. Tell me down below what you think about the movie. It is good. It is good. It is good. Nia Long and Omar Epps with his sexy ass did they thing in this movie. They really did. Okay. Peace.